welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and in today's video, we'll be breaking down all of these shows that were banned for whatever reason from Netflix. But before we get into that, if you don't want to miss another daily video from us, make sure you tap that subscribe button to join our notification squad. Now, without any further delay, let's get right into today's list of the top 10 TV shows that got banned from Netflix. In at number 10, The Simpsons. The Simpsons is without a doubt one of the biggest and longest running TV shows of all time. As a result of the show being a pivotal part of our culture, the question as to when it will arrive on Netflix has always been pondered over the years. Unfortunately though, due to Netflix and Fox cutting ties in 2017, which led to the removal of many FX shows from Netflix, this may be nothing but a pipe dream. Following the split, The Simpsons was streaming on Hulu until early 2019, although when it was announced that Disney had purchased Fox, their Disney Plus service became the new home for our favorite dysfunctional family. Although this did not stop Netflix from continuing to work with the Simpsons writers. They added the show Disenchantment, which is a Matt Groening series, so at least we get some parallel humor to enjoy. Although we wish we had The Simpsons on Netflix. In at number 9, Disjointed. Sadly for the cast of the show Disjointed, Netflix harshened their buzz when the streaming service pulled the show after just one season. The series was co-created by Chuck Lorre and starred Oscar winner Kathy Bates, who is the owner of an LA marijuana dispensary. Bizarrely enough, Netflix had renewed a lot of other shows that didn't do well, but chose to leave this one out. The multi-camera sitcom received a 20-episode first season and was one of the few multi-camera comedies on the platform. Unfortunately, the critics were very harsh with it, and as a result, it only got a 23% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, even though it had an 80% rating from the public. I never understood that. Unfortunately, it also was barred from appearing in many other countries that viewed the show as doing nothing more than promoting the devil's lettuce. In at number 8, The Mandalorian. It looks like the only Star Wars related film that will stay on Netflix is Solo, but compared to The Mandalorian, that's a big L. Especially considering that it's the only one they locked down. The Mandalorian was part of the big selling feature for Disney Plus, and after it surpassed Stranger Things in views, I can guarantee you Netflix started punching the air. It sent Star Wars back into the mainstream, and with their Baby Yoda character, it became an online sensation. Yet sadly, something that Netflix will never be able to touch. In at number 7, Cooking on High. Cooking on High is a competitive cannabis show where the chefs prepare dishes with marijuana infused into the meals that are then to be judged by celebrity judges. The Singapore Infocom Media Development Authority asked for it to be taken down due to their extremely strict laws concerning drugs. The sad thing is that the show was actually super transformative for people who thought that marijuana was nothing more than a party drug. It showed how it can be fused with meals in incredible ways that are both tasty and full of body buzz, which subsequently leads to some very hilarious moments. But at the end of the day, no one is harmed. They ate some great food, got a little buzz, and that's it. The fact that Singapore is still using this fear-mongering around it and limiting information is very disappointing. In at number 6, South Park. Very few shows compare to the longevity of The Simpsons, but South Park comes very close with its incredible takes on what's happening in the world. So far, the only thing that Netflix has is the South Park movie called Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. And in the film, the 4 boys are caught watching an R-rated movie featuring Canadians Terrence and Phillip, and are therefore believed to be corrupted. Now they must stop their parents from instigating a war-like situation, and apparently for subscribers in the UK, they can watch season 1 and seasons 18 to 21, as well as a collection of their top episodes, which include critically acclaimed episodes, fan favorites, and others chosen by the creators themselves. Unfortunately for everyone not in the UK, we'll just have to find other ways to catch up with the show. In at number 5, The Americans. The Americans is another show that has an extremely loyal fan base, and surprisingly it has done very well with critics as well. Hence the reason why the show is in high demand when it comes to streaming rights. While FX does hold on to a lot of their shows, they do tend to have some shows on other streaming services, so while The Americans isn't available to stream through Netflix, it is available on Amazon. Netflix was unable to acquire The Americans in time, and as a result, that ship had sailed. Now the show is far too big to buy. Even with the show coming to an end in 2018, Netflix had too much competition with trying to purchase the show, and because they passed early on, it's going to be difficult to ever obtain it. In at number 4, The Golden Girls. Without a doubt, Betty White has maintained her popularity long after The Golden Girls was over. While Netflix sees the appeal in Betty White as a person, they can't see the appeal in that show. Netflix is all about relating to the next generation of kids, appealing to a younger audience. So there's no way that they would ever allow The Golden Girls to be on their platform. It's only relatable to people that are now 75 plus. If they were to add the show, it would garner some initial attention, but after a while the show is just so dated that it just seems impossible to want to binge that thing. There just wouldn't be enough value in purchasing the show from its current owner. Plus, it is a huge difference from any of their original content, which seems like a better place to put their money and efforts. In at number 3, Seinfeld. This one is a bit of a strange one because of the relationship that Jerry Seinfeld has with Netflix. I mean, they've given him money for comedy specials as well as running his new show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Although when it comes down to streaming Seinfeld, that's still a long ways away for Netflix. The company looked into acquiring the sitcom, but unfortunately the price was far too high. The company would need to take out a line of credit and go severely into debt just to afford the sitcom's price tag. As a result, banned. In at number 2, Game of Thrones. Without a doubt, Game of Thrones is a big moneymaker for HBO, and they will for sure just be running reruns of this show for as long as they possibly can. The series premiered on HBO in the United States on April 17, 2011, and ended on May 19, 2019 with 73 episodes broadcasted over 8 seasons. Now, with HBO having their very own streaming service, there is most definitely a clause in the contract with the show's creators that they could never take the show to any other platform, which includes the streaming giant Netflix. Although Game of Thrones would be the perfect show for Netflix, HBO has made sure to keep their creators happy enough to just never want to leave. HBO even has a no exceptions rule when it comes to Netflix, meaning in no way will they ever allow their contracted shows to move over to a competitive platform. Regardless of how many people would want to watch it through Netflix, HBO seems to know better than to allow that to happen. Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, the Patriot Act. At the beginning of 2019, Netflix received a ton of backlash for taking down an episode of Hassan Minhaj's show, The Patriot Act. The episode criticized Saudi Arabia Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and the government's reaction to the death of a high-profile journalist. In response to this outcry, Netflix CEO Reed Hastings responded by saying, "We're not in the truth to power business, we're in the entertainment business." Although that is a bizarre excuse considering that Netflix has produced a number of original shows and films that specifically hold truth to power. I mean, you had When They See Us, which examined the Central Park 5 case and thus changed their names to the Exonerated 5. There was also a movie called The Laundromat based on the Panama Papers, where a major data breach shows just how wealthy and powerful people hide their money. Even recently, we had the Jeffrey Epstein documentary, which is doing nothing but speaking truth to power. I don't think Netflix should shy away from that out of fear that they'll lose some cash with their Saudi Arabian audience. I mean, the episode is still available on YouTube, but it will never see the light of day on Netflix. With that, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Top 10 Worst Netflix Movies of 2020. Stephanie Front says, "I haven't even heard of most of these." That's probably a good thing, Stephanie. Rebecca Wilder says, "Hi Johnny, thank you to you and your co-host and the rest of the team for always giving us new videos to enjoy. Be safe and keep smiling." Oh, thanks Rebecca, we absolutely love comments like this and we hope you and your family are staying safe. Katie Brad says, "I saw The Wrong Missy and I really didn't like it that much. It was kind of stupid, hated it." Yeah, I just thought it was a little too silly and weak to sit through. Just a lot of really easy jokes. Not my cup of tea. Cookies for President says, "I agree with all of these except Letter for the King. It wasn't the best, but I actually finished it." That's okay, we're allowed to enjoy different things. Bandit Babby Simpson says, "Your reviews are so harsh, yet I find it funny. Am I mean? I don't think you're mean for laughing at me being mean. If anything, I need to find a better way to be funny without being so mean." And that has been the top 10 TV shows that got banned from Netflix. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our editors for all of your hard work. If you enjoyed this video, please show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, don't forget to leave us your comments down below. And for more videos like this, just tap that playlist when it pops up. From Top 10 Beyond the Screen, my name is Johnny Rogers saying until next time, stay classy.